Now to our discussion segment, the unprecedented economic hardship has no doubt left most Nigerians struggling to make ends meet. Today on the program, we will continue our discussion on the cost of living with Dr. J. Ugwu, a financial literacy expert and management consultant on how individuals and families can handle their finances in order to navigate the current economic challenges. Dr. J. Ugwu joins us via telephone from Enugu. Hello, Dr. J. Ugwu. It's a pleasure having you on the program.
Yeah, good afternoon. The pleasure is mine. It's nice to be here. And then, thank God it rained yesterday. So
Okay.
I think things are getting better.
Okay. I hope it's the same situation with the pocket situation as well.
Well, with the physical rain, we can also begin to imagine that the financial rain would
Okay.
also come,
Okay. Well,
especially if we
let's.
do the right thing.
Okay, beautiful. Let's now delve into this. Let's delve into the subject matter. Prices of practically all commodities have skyrocketed. For example, 12 kg of gas, which was around 13,000 naira just a few weeks ago, is now 17,000 naira. What strategies can individuals and families adopt to cope with this rise in inflation?
Yes, like we spoke last week. Basically, there are three things we need to begin to, three major headlines we need to begin to talk about for families to be able to cope. One is managing their expenses, managing your expenditure, looking at how much money you have, and then how best you can actually spend. So we're going to elaborate on that. But we also will look at how to expand your income. So as you manage your expenses, that's one. Then two is multiplying your income, seeing, places where you can begin to make more money, how you can expand your income. All right. So if we start with how you can manage your expenses, yes, one of the major problems we have currently is that most Nigerians are almost living at baseline, at base level. So when you begin to tell people to cut down on expenses, it's actually very difficult because what are you cutting down on? Some people are already living on maybe 101 or 001. You understand what I mean? You understand? So are you going to tell them now to start the whole day? But the thing is, you begin to look at how you can use your fund efficiently and effectively. Now, efficient use of your resources is, for instance, if you can kill two birds with one stone, then you do that. Last week I spoke about if families have 2 cars, 3 cars, you need to cut down, maybe use one that is most fuel efficient, and then everybody doesn't have to drive on their own cars at the same time. If you're going along the same direction, then you may need to go with the entire family. Some people will drop at some point, the other will drop at some point until everybody gets to their destination instead of driving individually. Then when it comes to food stuff, you need to begin to say, okay, do you have a little saving that you can buy things in bulks? Because you find out that when you buy things, in bits, it is actually more expensive. For instance, a lot of people may not afford a bag of rice, but if you can buy like half bag, or you can team up with a neighbor or a colleague in the office or a friend, that people can put money together and then buy, let's say like 4 people buying one bag of rice and then dividing it into 4. You find out that the aggregate expenses that each of you have to meet would actually be saving you a lot of money. But if you say, okay, let me be buying 1 cup every day, 1 cup every day, you find that you're going to be spending a lot more. So you can find how you can pull funds together and buy things, maybe a bag of beans, a bag of rice, like a heap of yam. Families or friends can get together and buy it and then share. So that's way it becomes, a bit cheaper. Then you minimize every other expenses, extraneous expenses that is not vital. You need to let go of those ones for now. I think these are just temporal measures to enable us, navigate through this period. We understand that, it is important because, you find out that we're going to get through this. Then once you have the right understanding, you know that, okay, for instance, every economy actually goes through 4 phases. And when you understand this, you know that each phase will pass and give rise to the other. For instance, every economy has a boom phase.
Now, Dr. Ogu,
Yeah.
just like I said the other time, how can people that can, or people that don't have cars, how
Yeah.
can they actually manage life at this point in time? Because you talked about people that have cars. Maybe this is how they manage, but
Yeah.
everyday people on the street, how do they adjust to life?
Yeah, like I said, how they adjust to life is if you're using public transport, then that means, for instance, instead of everybody taking different public transport, like around Enugu here, you can take a keke, you can take keke charter from one place to another. You can say, okay, all of us are going to work, children are going to school, so you get one keke. That same keke is the same price going to charge you to take you to the office. But everybody enters that same keke, so it drops the children at school. Then it continues with madam, drops madam at her office, and then it continues with you, and then drops you at your own office or at your own shop or whatever destination you're going to. So it is all about saying, okay, if you're using public transport, make sure you're just going to places that are very, very vital for now. You need to cut down on all of those ones. That way, you'll be able to minimize the amount of money you're spending on commuting from one place to another. So if it is things that generate income, then of course those things are important. You need to engage in them. So all around, you look at all your expenses, even if it's house rent, you can also find a way. How do you become more effective? For instance, you have maybe if you take it now to making more money, if you have a shop or maybe a spare room, you begin to think, what can I convert this spare room into so that the money we're paying for rent, everything doesn't just go into accommodating us and making us do. You can find a way to commercialize a part of your building, a part of what you have. Maybe you have your backyard. You can use it to, begin to think about things. Is it poultry? You can
Okay,
do,
okay.
is
Now,
it,
now talking
agriculture or
about
something?
now talking about additional sources of income. What particular business you think that people should actually take advantage at this time?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I mean, talking about additional source of income, where do you
Yes.
think people should invest their money so that they can make, additional source of income, or probably what should they do to earn more money at this point in time?
Okay, yes, that's fantastic because people need to begin to look at how can I earn more money, how can I make more money before you even look at multiplying your money. And like you said, business is anything you do to enable you make more money, anything you do physically or mentally. So you begin to look at yourself. For instance, what is your skill? What is your experience? What is the knowledge you have? How can you trade that for other people's money? What knowledge do you have that can you give other people? What business can you begin to set up? And then there are so many businesses you can do right now. If you come into the food ecosystem, you understand, the agricultural ecosystem, you don't need to be a farmer really, but you can play in the agricultural value chain. You can play in the drink value chain. For instance, people drink water every day. The other day were complaining about heat and all of that. Somebody who has a space in his house where he lives can decide to be retailing sachet water. People want to buy it. People want to buy some bags along your street. So these are things you want to begin to think about. Can you begin to retail soft drinks? You buy maybe 1 or 2 cartons of soft drink and then just put it there. If you have lights in your place, can you begin to think about people coming to your place to buy cold water, ice block, and all of those things? You find out that begin to, it may seem small, but you find out that small money you begin to make from all those small things will begin to add up and then take off some expenses out of you. So again, I keep saying people need to be very careful about investment now. Investment is different from business. Investment is what your money does to make more money for you. And I keep telling people the greatest investment is investment in personal development, is investment in your own capacity to do things better. There are a lot of investment platforms available, but I keep saying it, most investments will take time before they yield. So what is best for you is to begin to get knowledge of how investments work. You want to invest in stocks, you want to invest in shares, you want to invest in derivatives, you want to invest in financial instruments, for instance, treasury bills. But of course, for you to even do that, you already need to have some money already. So if you understand the cycle of the economy, the boom, the recession, the depression, and then the recovery, then you can position yourself very well that whatever phase the economy is, coping strategies to apply. And this boils down to people being financially literate. So that when you're making a lot of money, that's not when to spend all of that. That's boom. When the economy goes into depression, you know what
Dr.
to do
Ugwu,
as
I'm
well.
afraid I'll have to come in. Okay, before I let you go now, just briefly, with the rising cost of living, what advice do you have for people looking to protect their savings? then what should government do at this point in time to help people navigate through this, current situation?
Yes, to protect your savings, you're better off investing in commodities, in stable commodities. You understand? So just like I said, if you have some savings now, this is the best time to buy. If you're going into food staples, for instance, this is the best time to buy 2 to 3 bags of rice. This is the best time to buy 2 to 3 bags of beans. Best time to buy a couple of heaps of yam and all of those things. Food staples that are not going to spoil. So that's one of the ways to save to protect the value of what you have. Then depending on the amount of money you have, you can begin to go into investments, like, going into treasury bills, going into shares. Those are things that can protect your income your savings where it is, so that the profits you're making from those investments, you begin to be able to use it to spend on other things. Then for the government, the most important thing is to have monetary policy, stable monetary policy that will guarantee. For instance, now you know what the dollar and then the naira exchange rate is doing. That will keep the exchange rate low, and they will enable people be able to save the money that they are making. So it's there for the government to be able to put all those monetary and fiscal policies in place. But again, a lot depends on the individual, because again, beyond the economy of the state, every economy is also personal.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. J. Ugwu. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, and we really appreciate your thoughts at this point in time.